So, what do you do if you've just given birth to your first baby? It's the middle of COVID lockdowns and you're struggling with mastitis and can't feed your baby? Well, if you're my guest today, you invent a new product that not only helps your own situation, but actually takes the market by storm as well. Today on the show, I'm joined by Elysia, founder of Meke Baby, which is a really innovative portable breast milk warmer. So Elysia essentially created an entirely new product category in the marketplace. And in our conversation today, she describes everything from that moment of inspiration through the design, prototyping, and testing phase, which of course would be pretty significant for a product in that category. Her launch to market, and then how she's been scaling her business. And in just 18 months, she's grown her business rapidly. She now has a substantial team. She's launching new products and expanding internationally. I think you're going to enjoy this story today. So without further ado, let's welcome Elysia to the show. So welcome to the show, Elysia. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. And I've been keen to have you on the show after coming across, is it Meke Baby?
Meke Baby.
Meke. I always have to check how to pronounce these things. Probably should have done that before hitting record.
That's all right. No
I came
worries.
across your innovation, I think a year ago,
Yep.
and just have been quietly watching what you've been doing. So really stoked to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much.
So do you want to just do a real quick introduction of yourself and your brand, and then we'll dive into your story?
Yep, no worries. So I'm a mum of two toddlers, Amani and Giselle, who are four and three. And she's almost five, so I'm already like
Yes.
pre-planning that. So yes, I'm the founder of Meke Baby, and it's basically a brand that started from me desperately needing a portable milk warmer. So I had no way to heat up my milk on the go, and there just wasn't really any solution out there. So I had no intentions of starting an e-commerce business or anything. I still actually work full time as a CEO for a performing arts organization.
Oh,
So
goodness. Amazing.
yeah, juggling lots of plates at the moment.
Absolutely. Two kids and a high level job and founding a business of your own is incredible.
Yeah.
So what it like, I mean, that kind of answers the question, what were you doing beforehand? Like performing arts, I've got some artists and musicians in my family. It's not like a traditional business.
No. So I started at an organization called Stage School Australia when I was about 21 years old as the receptionist. And it is now one of the largest performing arts companies in Australia. We
Wow,
have just about 6,000 students.
incredible.
So I basically grew with the company. I've always had a passion for the arts. That was my background as a child. I was always on stage performing, and then I got a Bachelor of Arts,
Hmm.
and that was always my passion.
Yeah.
And basically, that's all I wanted to do was grow that business. And then I became a mum.
Yeah.
And I guess, I found that there was this problem in the market. There was just this gap. There was so many issues with me going back to work and my feeding, and I had mastitis and just trying to juggle everything. It was like there's got to be products out there that cater more to, people who want to continue breastfeeding,
Mm.
but can't always necessarily physically be there to breastfeed.
No.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, basically just started from there.
Yeah, because I guess there's all of the pumps and the storage and various other products on the market, but nothing at all like what you've created. So,
Yeah. And I think for me, I was in a situation where I was physically unable to feed because I suffered with mastitis. I had a situation where I couldn't bear the pain. And,
yeah.
it was during the COVID lockdown. So there were no feeding rooms, there were no microwaves, there was no cafes because you weren't pretty much allowed to touch anything at that point.
Nope.
So I was like, I literally cannot feed my baby. Like, I don't want to be in this situation ever again.
No.
And realized there really was a problem that needed a solution.
Yeah, yeah. Well, having had mastitis as well myself, I know how awfully painful that is. So
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's
not
awful.
fun.
And especially when you're a new mom, you don't even understand, like, you don't even realize what's going on in your body.
No, no, everything is new and different. And, we want to get everything right, but we are unsure about, it's pretty un overwhelming. So, yeah,
Yeah,
such a tough
yeah,
time. And COVID as well. I mean,
yeah, yeah. It's, yeah, crazy time. But yeah, I guess now seeing what has come out of it, I got all that time with my kids
yeah.
and I created a solution.
Yeah, so give us the timeline. I mean, obviously, you had your baby during lockdowns, or your first baby, I assume.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
when did Meke Baby come out?
Start. So she was pretty young. It would have been the first few months that I started really investigating what I could do. And obviously it's a pretty expensive process. So didn't really have the sort of funds to go all out. So I was just basically researching manufacturers out there that have baby products to see if there was some sort of staple
Yeah.
that could do something like this because it essentially is like a kettle.
Yes.
Um, and I started from that. So I started just reaching out to different manufacturers, getting a whole bunch of samples of what currently did already exist, and then build from that.
Yeah.
And so, just even going through the whole testing process was such a learning phase because we just don't have the access to the sort of labs that we need here in Australia. So it was just months and months of research before really I did anything. And then it really was focusing on the brand and who I wanted to be as a brand and what we stood for, and really sort of I had such a clear vision of what that looked like.
Mm.
So
For those people who are listening and not haven't come across it online yet, describe the brand personality because you have done a beautiful job with the branding design, I think.
I wanted to be bold. I wanted to be inclusive to mums and dads. I didn't want to feel clinical. I wanted to really you know, tailor our audience to the modern day parent, the working mum, the working dad, the dad who can help with the breastfeeding, like it just, yeah, I just wanted to be different to what was out there. I feel like there's so much support out there for women and mums and their journey, and there really isn't a whole lot out there for dads. And my husband helped me so much with night feeds, and I would have to go to work and he would have to look after the kids. And yeah, I wanted to create a brand that was really inclusive.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very warm and accessible and fun, cheerful kind of looking brand. I,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
I think so. I really like it.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Um, so I want to just go back to that kind of process of innovation because, you did have to essentially invent something that didn't exist before. And I can imagine being in the product category that you're in, there would have been some standards to meet and all sorts of things.
Sorry, I knew this was going to happen.
It's all good.
All right, give me a second. Sorry, can you give me 2 seconds? Sorry.
This is part and parcel of
Oh,
the
yeah.
trouble, isn't it?
Let's see how many times that happens.
It's pretty familiar. I mean, my kids are older now, but I remember like so yeah, kind of talk us through that prototyping and testing process and how you ultimately managed to get the finished product.
To be honest, I pretty much started from the ACCC and what was
Yeah.
required. And then, having food contact, we had to go through food grade, heavy metal, BPA free, skin irritation, like literally every test under the sun.
Yeah.
We probably went through. And I think that is something that I'm noticing now. It's like a lot of these drop shipping brands and things like that are trying to come up with the same thing. And I just know for certain that they would not be going through the same rigorous testing. For a product like this, especially when you are dealing with breast milk, you want to be sure that you're
Definitely.
ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just worked my way backwards and find out how many possible tests and labs can I send this product to ensure that it's safe, and that's what I did.
Yeah. 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 And was that like a year? Like, how long did it actually take you to get to market?
Yeah, it was probably about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you did next. Like, how did you bring the product to market? What was your launch strategy?
My launch strategy was give it to everybody who was
Yeah.
a parent.
Yeah.
I basically just wanted everybody to test it. Mums, dads, grandmas, like I was giving out warmers left, right, and center. That was honestly my strategy. And there were a few there were a few people at the time, like there was Kayla at Cenas, Greta Van Raal. There were some, some new mums who had just had young babies who I was like, I've got a solution. You're somebody who is on the go all the time. You have a newborn. I think you would really appreciate this product. And they did, they
Great.
shared their address and they endorsed my product pretty much before anybody else did.
That's
I was
incredible.
able to get some, pretty impressive testimonials, and that was from me sending samples.
Yeah.
So
Incredible.
yeah, that was my strategy. Give it to the people who need it, basically.
Yeah. And I did notice that you don't just feature testimonials from mums. You had at least one on the main carousel from a dad as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We've got a few dads. I'll never forget that there was this dad who reached out to me, and he was actually a husband of somebody that I gifted. And he messaged me on Instagram and was like, I just want to thank you for this product. It is absolutely saving us. I
Yeah.
think you're going to do incredible things. And I still remember it to this day because it was like, this is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to find a tool that was going to support mum and dad. And I remember even my husband saying at the start, like, when Armani was like 6 weeks old, he's like, I feel useless. I feel like there's nothing that I can actually do to help you, especially when you're waking up so many times during the night. And it was like, this is a way that they can help because mum
Yeah.
can express her breast milk and she can sleep for a few hours and dad has it
Yeah.
under control. And I think this dad in particular really verified that and gave me the confidence that this was really going to change the way that parents could feed their babies.
Yeah. Gosh, it would give you goosebumps, I think, to start getting those messages.
It did. It did. It was like I felt like I was really onto something. And, we were on a plane once and I had the sample and my husband paid no attention to this idea at the start. He was like, yeah, yeah, she's on about something. And then we were on a flight to Queensland to see my parents, and he was like, this is so quick. He's like, this is such a good idea. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been telling you. It's a great idea. And then he started to take it a little bit more seriously.
That's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
So, is he involved in the business? Are you in it together or?
Now he is. Now
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's heavily involved now. So he really looks after the operations and the logistics, and
Mhm. Yep.
I'm the creator.
Yeah, excellent. Because it's such a tough journey for, there are a lot of mums who do start businesses at that stage of life. I think it is a very creative time of our lives when we have
Yeah,
babies and maybe, you know, cross between the, sleep deprivation and this
yeah, yeah,
zone that we go into. But, it's so hard for a lot of women when they want to, they have a creative idea and they really want to go for it, but they don't have a supportive partner. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm very, very lucky. He's very supportive, and the whole time he was just like, I believe in your capabilities, so just do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so good. So obviously you were able to get things off the ground with some of the gifting and I guess it was like an influencer publicity sort of strategy to start getting
Yep.
brand awareness. How did you grow from there?
Word of mouth.
Hmm.
And I think because it was a product that was really solving a problem, everybody was happy to post about it.
Yeah.
So there was just this organic blurry of Meke Baby everywhere. And I remember people actually saying to me, I'm seeing your warmer everywhere. And I think that was because my strategy was give it to everybody and not worry about how much it was going to cost me.
It's probably still quicker
Um,
than starting advertising from the start. So
yeah, I mean, it's different. Like you give out cosmetic products or things like that, they don't have a high retail value, but because this was a
yeah,
product that is quite expensive to manufacture, especially at the beginning
yeah,
when, I'd already invested so much, it
yeah,
was a risk because I was giving out thousands and thousands of dollars worth of warmers.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think that strategy in itself really did help because it took off quickly from word of mouth and people just having
Mm.
having it in their hands.
I guess the cool thing too is that a lot of the time friend groups start having babies around the same time as each other. So when one person solves a problem, they're going to tell all their girlfriends about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think everyone, I certainly did. I think when you launch a product, you're like, okay, website's going to go live, and you expect all these sales to come in.
Yeah.
You're like, "Doop, doop, 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 doop." But so it certainly didn't have the boom at the very beginning, like everyone who launches a business thinks it's going to have.
Yep, that was me the first time too.
Yeah, you're just there waiting. You're like, oh, there's a
Yeah,
sale. And it's
yeah.
like one every
Well,
2 days.
worried to press the go live button because you haven't got everything else 100% organized. It's like, don't even worry about that yet.
Yeah, exactly. But look, I think considering, things definitely took off pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good. I remember a few years ago, a friend who had a business, totally not the same category, but similar in that, there's products that are solving a yesterday, I need it yesterday need versus just something that we might desire.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that first scenario is a much easier sell in some respects because like people are desperate for it. They needed it yesterday and they just are going to get that because they're so desperate. Whereas, if it's just a desire, you can kind of put it off. So
yeah,
not
yeah.
not to say that everything in that category becomes a super easy sell, but I think there are advantages in some respects there.
Yeah, absolutely. I even find that now it's like as soon as people make an order, it's like I need it now, like right
Yeah.
now. I can't wait for express
No.
shipping. Like, can you bring it to me
And
today?
especially if, poor mum's got mastitis, you do kind of need it yesterday. It's
Yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
Oh dear. And so I did notice as well that you've had some other pretty amazing looking PR, namely like Channel 7. So what else have you continued to do to really raise the bar with brand awareness and driving sales?
Some of it has been organic.
Mhm.
Some of it has been at the start. I did a Linkby campaign.
I love that platform. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really successful because I had no idea like if anyone would want to pick us up or run the story. And we actually had quite a few reach out. So it ends up being quite costly because obviously it's per
If I
click.
click, yeah.
But I didn't think that that would happen. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine. And all of a sudden we had all of these publications reaching out. So it was good. So in a very small period of time, we
Yeah.
had quite a bit of press coverage.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend it, especially when you're starting out. If you're wanting to get some PR and you don't know how to begin, that it is a good way to start.
It is a great platform when you've got something innovative or, there are times, I guess where there's stuff that's in the news anyway, topics that are newsworthy. And if you have a product that is really relevant to that, or in your case, something that is incredibly innovative and new and different that is solving a real need,
Yeah.
yeah, Linkby, highly rate it. It's good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And then you can leverage that PR that you get across all your other marketing after that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a PR strategy is pretty important. I
mm,
definitely find that it adds this element of trust
mm.
and authority that you may not have if you don't have PR.
No, yeah, it's just that extra credibility right from the start. And I think, I mean, I don't know what you think about this, but there's so much content online now that is produced by AI that it can be difficult for consumers to know if what they're looking at is for real or is that just something that a computer produced, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And
Yeah.
trying to get that trust with a new customer is really not so easy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah, your
agree.
PR would have certainly helped with that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your, if there's one or two of the most difficult challenges, aside from that first part of actually trying to make this thing that you've had
Yeah.
to address and overcome, because I know everyone in business has difficulties that they have to overcome, and it's just really helpful to know that you're not the only one.
Yeah. 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 Some challenges. Look, I think my biggest challenge has been the double life that I'm living
Yeah.
and the working full time, starting a new business, trying to keep, healthy, happy family. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
the combination of all of that is by far my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And, people often ask me why, why are you still working full time? And like I said to you at the beginning, I was very passionate about stage school.
Mm.
And that was also my baby. I started there at a young age. I had a very clear vision of what I wanted that organization to be. So it's very hard for me to let go of something that I've really believed in.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think for me trying to juggle everything is hard. It's getting easier now as the team grows and as the business grows. It's obviously I've got more support.
Yep.
But most of all, trying to be a good mum, trying to prioritize my kids and not being in front of a screen all the time because I'm working 400 different jobs at a
Yeah.
time, So
That's a lot.
it
Mm.
is hard, and it's the thing that the guilt that I carry probably the most. So that would be one challenge. I think the other challenge would be the copycats.
Gosh,
Um, you know,
already?
you'd be surprised. And I think the worst part about it is when you know that the copycats are coming with, like I said, these products that are not
Tested.
tested, not regulated, and possibly a little bit cheaper, but they're cheaper for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's dealing with that. And I've very much been of the mentality, stick in your own lane. When a business has integrity and a purpose and innovation, you can't replicate that.
No,
But it's always still annoying.
it is incredibly annoying. I guess on that, have you had to go through I imagine you'd have to be educating the market a little bit because this is a new thing
Yeah.
um, that you have, invented and launched into the market. So yeah, like how do you go about that?
Look, there's certain things that we can and can't do. Like we have a legal team, so if we've had some situations where we have needed to get them involved.
Mhm.
But generally speaking, I'm sort of picking my battles. It is a very tough industry. I
Mm,
know firsthand how costly it is
mm,
to run it the way that
yeah.
it needs to be. So I'm just sort of focusing on what I need to and really trying to ignore the noise. And I think that's with every industry, like especially if there's a product that is needed, you're always going to get competition. So it's just a
Yeah.
matter of what we do. But, it is annoying. You can't help that.
No, you can't really. And I mean, maybe it's helpful to look at it from the perspective that if you've got some competition, then that means that there's demand as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
just have to keep being that innovator in the market.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Any tips that you've worked out for the balance and the mum guilt? Because I'm sure our listeners would take any tips there.
I need the tips. Can I come back to you when I figure it out?
Yeah. Did you have?
No, what I have done is I've ordered a new iPhone, which I'm
Mhm.
very excited about because it looks like it's very powerful.
Mhm.
So I've ordered a new phone and I'm going to try and separate my
Yep.
life a little bit. So I'll have the work phone, I'll have the work content and keep it separate, turn it off at, 6 or 7 o'clock or something, and then just not have this vicious cycle of as soon as you wake up, pick up the phone, because I
Yeah.
am very much still living those poor habits at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to try and create some balance and some healthy habits to
Maybe some
avoid.
time
Yeah,
blocks and boundaries around time.
yeah, I think so. I think that's the only way. It's still hard when we're in such a growth period,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I think it will come. I think it
Yeah.
will come.
Yeah. Um, if you haven't ever read the book Thrive by Ariana Huffington, highly recommend that one. But
Thrive. I
yeah,
will absolutely write that one down.
she has this, and I'll probably butcher it, but she has this saying in there that I think was a piece of advice she got given because, she's a mum trying to build Huffington Post as, pretty full on. But it was something like, be present wherever you are. So if you're at work, you're at work. If you're at home with the kids, you're present with the kids and not trying to juggle them both, which is bloody difficult.
It is. It
And
really is.
sometimes we get interrupted, but you know, trying to
Yeah.
multitask, I guess, is the thing that's we all think we can do, but we probably can't do it all that well.
Yeah, absolutely. A friend of mine actually who is the CEO of Franjo's Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
She said to me, she said, turn off your notifications.
Oh
It will
yeah.
do you wonders. And
Mm,
I was like, how could I possibly turn off my notifications? Like when you're so used to it. But I
yeah.
did. I did. We went to the UK just recently. And I said, you know what? This is some time with my husband and my kids. I'm
Yeah.
I'm actually going to turn off notifications. The team have everything under control. And it was great. I barely
Yeah.
thought about work.
So good.
So yeah, making small steps, but I think everything does count because your kids really do grow up so quickly
Yeah.
and instantly, that time's gone and you can't get that back.
No.
So I am really making a conscious effort to, yeah, to be
Love
better.
that. And so the business has obviously grown over the last few years since you launched,
Yeah.
and you've mentioned you have a team now. So what does all of that look like now?
Well, we only launched about a year and a half ago, so we're
Yeah,
not even in the
crazy
years
fast.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it has been very fast. So my team now it's predominantly marketing. So I have a marketing manager. I have somebody who manages all my EDMs and just general email marketing. I have a digital team. I also have a CFO and an admin manager now.
Yeah. That's great. It's a lot of
Yeah.
support. I mean, e-commerce business, it has to be kind of very marketing focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really great to hear because some of that stuff just takes a lot of time if you are
It
trying
does.
to do it all yourself.
It does. And you don't have a shop front. If you've got a shop front, you've got that foot traffic. So you have
Yeah.
to go out there and get it. So it's
Yeah.
got to, yeah, that's I think for me, that's been our best investment is in our marketing.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. So it's been a year and a half of selling so far, which is not a huge amount of time, but I'm still going to ask you if you could reflect back to the very beginning when you had this idea with the knowledge and the experience that you have now. What advice would you give yourself back then?
What advice would I give myself back then? Um, I probably wouldn't change a whole lot, to be honest. I think, and it's the advice that I still give myself today is just really believe in every decision that I'm making. It's so easy to have days where you get imposter syndrome and you think, am I doing the right thing? Am I risking all of this for nothing? I really believe in what we're doing. I really believed in the impact that we're having in the community and in the feeding category. So just stick to your gut, really believe your intuition. And if you feel like you've got a product that is, or a service or whatever it is that's, going to benefit people, then just stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And what about what's coming next for the business?
Oh, what's coming next? We are definitely going through quite a big growth phase at the moment. So we've
Yeah.
just launched a new product.
Yeah.
So that's been on pre-order and is selling like hotcakes at the moment, which is amazing. So
What
yeah,
is it? I obviously missed that one.
so the new product is basically it's a version that was solving all of the things I didn't know I would need with the first one. So when we launched the first warmer, it was specifically for breast milk. So it was catered for smaller servings. The heating mechanism was very much designed for even heating of breast milk and protecting the antibodies. And it was great for small servings. But as my kids have grown older, so have their serving sizes. I had one
Mhm.
baby to two babies. So we've
Yeah.
increased the capacity. It's got rapid heating, rapid charge. It can also keep milk cold.
Mm.
So it's just the upgrade of the initial one, basically.
That's
So it's
incredible.
serving a different market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's happening, and we are focusing on our UK growth strategy also.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, is there any new markets that you're entering into?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we've just launched in the UK.
Sensational. Wow. Congratulations on both those counts. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
I want to ask you one last question, and this will be interesting for me to ask you compared to many of my guests because you do have the juggle that you've got going on. But what do you love the most so far about being a business owner?
Oh, goodness gracious. I think I love the creativity. I love being in a space where you are able to go rogue on the creativitiness. Like I think when you're in another somebody else's business, you're quite limited.
Mm,
You can put forward suggestions, you can come up with all these ideas, but at the end of the day, it needs to go through some sort of approval process, and you've got somebody saying yes or no. Whereas when it's your own business, you are the innovator and you're able to test and play around with all the things that, you know, you want to try. And I think for me, because I am such a creative person, I've been able to really double down on that and
mm,
just believe in my intuition and
mm.
go with my gut. So
Yeah,
I really love that aspect of running my own business.
yeah.
I would never want that to be taken away from me.
No, well, it sounds very much like you know exactly where your zone of genius is, and you are getting, other people around you on your team to support you in those, all the other areas so that you can keep
Yeah.
that bit.
I really love that. Like, if you said to me that you've got this business idea, I would want to spend so much time working on that business idea for you. Like, because I just have this interest in, oh my God, that's a great idea. What can I do to help you? Here are
Yeah,
all my ideas.
yeah. It's like
So
you've just taken your performing arts creative nature and put it into entrepreneurship.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what I've done.
Hmm, very cool. Well,
Thank you.
it's been really amazing hearing all about Meke Baby. And
Thank you.
for our listeners, if they want to find out more about your beautiful brand, where can they go to find you?
At mekebaby.com, or we have an Instagram, which is mekebaby.au.
Beautiful. Well, we will link to both of those on the podcast show notes page.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for jumping on with me today. And I think we've only had one interruption from the kitties. So
I know.
pretty
Thank you
good.
so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope somebody has gotten something out of today's chat.
I'm sure they will. It's always a popular episode when we share stories. So appreciate it.
Thank you.